Hello and welcome to Vanilla & Co, where Vanilla and I, Amy, share all things home and garden with you. So currently Vanilla is inside because it's a little cold and breezy out here. But we're in the garden because something exciting is going to happen. So I know you guys can see the mess that this is. And it's okay. It's winter. There were a lot of things last season that didn't get done. And I just haven't come around to cleaning this up a little bit better. But I do not feel bad about leaving out all of these plants, even though they may be dead. A lot of them have gone to seed and the birds have been able to enjoy them in this harsh winter that we've had. So I'm not sorry, and it's actually a lot of fun seeing them in the day. We get some, I think, goldfinches and some bluebirds with orange bellies. Should probably learn the names of our native birds, but it's a lot of fun to see them. I will be cleaning this out to make room for the new growth soon. I do have some bird feeders out so they're not left completely without food, at least from our home. But some exciting things are going on in our home. We have about a 10,000 square foot lot, and the backyard of our home is completely unfenced, and we're finally getting a fence. So I'll go ahead and show you guys. It is a work in progress. So this is our backyard, and as you can see, most of it goes uphill, and that's why we never prioritized our backyard. We initially just prioritized getting the front to look nice. I mean, you can see we just have a ton of clay soil. It's a little bit looser because we had some work done back here with the drainage. Of course, we had a ton of water just sit. We essentially had a moat. All we needed were like sharks and gators. But we got some drainage put in that loosened up a lot of the dirt. But we haven't even bothered putting seed out here just because we knew we wanted to get a fence this year. We hadn't really used the backyard because of the drainage issues, and literally we got that done in maybe October, and then it was just too cold to be outside anyway. So we're gonna fence up our yard, try to level this out a little bit, and then finally clean it up. On that further end, we want to just fill it with clover. We have some peach trees that we planted last year, so this year they should be pretty established, and maybe we'll get some fruit this year. That would be really cool. They're still pretty small, so I don't know. And yeah, level this side out, this side, and behind leading up to the garden is gonna be like just a bunch of rock, and this side we want to use for entertaining. We're also, the fence is going up to the garden, so ideally it will open up. We have like an 4-foot doors on either side, so an 8-foot opening that'll just open into the garden and into the view. And I'll show you a little bit of that, so we'll walk around. So we're fencing all of this flat portion, and it'll open up to the center of the garden. So I'll show you guys this view. The fence will go along there and open up, and we'll be able to see the hills on this side. And it just opens up to the view of the sky. We don't really have any houses in front of us that block our view. At night we can see all the stars. So I'm really excited about having a place that we can host and have some privacy while still getting to enjoy this view. So normally for something like this, I would be able to stay home and work from home. Unfortunately, I have too many meetings tomorrow in person, and I'm not going to be able to stay home. I'm not going to be able to film a lot of the process, but we're going to get to see what we come home to tomorrow, which I guess is kind of fun. I've laid out a very, very detailed drawing stating where, you know, the doors, which direction the doors should open. I asked what the hinges are gonna look like, how deep they're gonna dig, because we've had some issues with some of the electrical wires not being as deep as they should be, or as what is standard. So I let them know those issues ahead of time. And I'm just gonna clean up a little bit since I do have some old pots and some plants back here where the garden is gonna start. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And Vanilla is already crying. I might bring her out just a little while. I have to go find Vanilla. Okay, Mom, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Amy, why would you put this mess on YouTube for my 45 subscribers? Shout out to you guys, by the way. It's because this is what it is, Mom. I have a mess, and I'm sorry, and I'm working on it. I love you, though. I mean, that's not a reason not to love you, but I'm sorry. But yeah, you know, if your yard looks like this sometimes, it's okay. The nice thing is now we're gonna have a fence so that no one has to see it. But for now, because the fence is gonna come up to here, I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this stuff up and just get it out of the way for when the guys come tomorrow. Have some trees. Have a tree that I never got to, R.I.P. I don't even know if she's alive anymore. But we're not gonna give up on her just yet. This one is a native bush. Oh goodness, it rooted to the ground. I've had it here a while. Well, this one's a native bush and this one is very much alive. Have some pots that at some point I had put like crocus and daffodils, or no, hyacinth. They did okay. If you're thinking, dang, she's out of breath. Yeah, I'm out of breath. I sit at a desk all day. I don't get to do as much cardio or heavy lifting as I probably should. But here we are, lifting with our legs, boys. It already looks better because really I'm just moving the mess from one corner to the next. So I don't know that that's necessarily better. Even though it's messy, it's kind of cool leaving some pots just alone because then you get stuff that you didn't even know you could. I mean, to some people they're weeds. To other people, or whatever this is. I mean, I think it looks really cool. Kind of have like greenish purpley leaves. I don't even know what plant it is. Let me put the brightness up. Okay. Look at that moss. But we'll find out what it is once it flowers. Okay, so it got a little dark, so you guys won't be able to see the complete clean. I mean, we would have still had to cut the grass and stuff, so it doesn't look clean, just all the stuff is out of the way. And I'm excited to see how much progress they make tomorrow, or even if they finish, it's not that much that they're fencing. So let's stay tuned. It'll be as much of a surprise to you as it is to me. Obviously, it's my house, so I'm more excited. But then we can talk about some of the things that I learned in this process, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got home, we're so excited, and the fence it feels really big, I guess because I'm just so used to seeing it empty. So let's go see it. I'm just gonna do a voiceover because I already filmed, and I hope you enjoy seeing this process. Good morning. It is 2 days later. The fence did get finished up yesterday, but I wasn't able to film, and really I was just trying to figure out what I was looking at. There were a couple things that I was just like, I had questions about or whatever. So let's go ahead and take a look at those things now. I mean, other than those couple things, and they're small, the fence looks really good. I'm really happy with the work. Of course, like, I knew there was going to be something because I'm picky, but my contractor said that he can fix a couple of those things really easily. So let's go take a look at what that is before he gets here. So here's the completed fence. Like I said, I'm really happy with the overall turnout. Here we're walking up to the door, and a few things that stood out to me right away were this gap. It's not like an enormous gap, but I mean, I can fully fit my hand through it. Someone could fit something through it, cut a lock if they really wanted to. And then the hardware on this is interesting because you open the fence. That's pretty smooth. It's been raining, it's still raining. You open the fence, you close it, closes smooth, but then you have this thing, and you can lock it from the outside. So someone inside could no longer open the fence, and that's what I'm not a big fan of. Don't like the idea of being trapped inside the fence so easily. So my contractor said he can turn that around. I think he's gonna put the latch on this side. But overall, I think that looks really good. The second issue I had was that this latch only goes like an inch in the ground. Like, that's nothing. So I definitely want it to go deeper. I mean, that's the whole reason you have something so big. The rain is picking up, so I'm gonna put the camera away, but I'm gonna keep the sound on to hear some of the conversation with my contractor. Morning, Caleb, how are you? Doing well.
How do you guys like everything aside from what you had mentioned?
Honestly, it looks really good. I mean, all around they stuck pretty close to the ground. And honestly, in front of the fence, it's just stuff that we have to fill in anyway. So other than the things I had mentioned, I really like it.
Nice, that's awesome. Well, I'm really glad to hear that. Let's take a look at what we can do. Other than that, I don't see any problems, and then I'll put that picket on. And the other gate, is it the same?
Yeah, the other gate's the same.
I can flip it around.
Okay, yeah, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
So here's the completed fence. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Our contractor did come out yesterday and turn the gate hardware around. He wasn't able to do it on the other side, so he's gonna get us other hardware, and that'll just be for another video. So this is what it looks like now. Before, the other side was out here, and it was sticking out like maybe like 4 or 5 inches, and then someone could readily lock it, and I didn't really like that. Whereas now, and if we go ahead inside, this is on the outside, we could readily lock it without having a lock. He also fixed this, so this goes a lot deeper now. A little deeper. He also fixed this, so this goes a lot deeper now, or at least a little deeper than it did yesterday. It holds a little better, but I'm really happy with it. Pretty easy to open. And like I said, he put in this fence picket. He did it so quick. He literally did it like when he came to pick up the second half of the payment. I think it came out pretty good. Okay, so before I end the video, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we did to prepare to build the fence, what we did during, and some of the after. So first of all, we had to get an idea of what it cost so we could start budgeting. So we asked a couple of the neighbors, asked who they went through. We also Googled a per foot price for our area. Obviously, it really depends where you live. But it shouldn't vary too much, I would assume. And from there, we were able to create a budget and start saving. It's not going to be a small amount. It's definitely a big expense. So you want to save on top of your regular savings. You don't want this to come out of your 3-month emergency fund. And then we also started making a plan, like what we wanted our fence to look like, what area we wanted encapsulated. Our yard is kind of weird, so we had thought, like maybe a little less, or maybe we cut here. But having a couple different options, especially if your budget is a little tight, that's going to give you a little bit more to play with. And just, obviously you can save some money if you go smaller or whatever. So also say hello to Vanilla. So once we did all of that homework, I started looking into fence companies. Again, I asked my neighbors who they used, who they recommended, and I also did my own research. I ended up going with someone who had really good reviews, but was relatively new in the area. They had 3 years of fencing time here, but all of their reviews were really good. They had social media, they had a proper website. And I mean, it's always a risk with a smaller company, but honestly, I'm glad that we went in this direction. From the moment that I reached out to the contractor, he was very responsive, and he came over probably a week or two into us contacting him. I think a week. He came that week, and he measured out the yard like that day, gave us kind of like a per foot price, and then sent us the proposal, I think that day or the next day. And we had a lot of little things that I was picky about in particular. For example, I wanted the electrical box to be in the fence. I wanted a hose on the side of the garden to be outside of the fence. I wanted double doors and a wide opening, and I want it to open in this direction. I want the door on the other side to open out in the other direction. And on the other side, I want the hose on the inside, things like that. So I made a very clear drawing with a satellite image and with the blueprint laid on top of the satellite image. And then I drew everything. I made all those notes. I put, this is where the hose is on this side. I just noted everything like that. They had something on hand. And our contractor was really great about all of my wants and needs. It may seem picky to some people, and if you don't think that's worth the effort and you're not that picky, like that's great. And if you are, that's also okay. They're not doing you any favors. Like, you're paying them full price. It's okay to be picky, because the last thing you want is you really wanted something and you didn't communicate it because you didn't, want to hurt someone's feelings or be too pushy or be bossy. Who cares? You're paying them, right? And they want to make money too, so it's okay. And also, if you don't communicate something clear or it's not written down somewhere, then you could have meant, oh, like I really wanted the hose inside, or I wanted the doors to open this way. And that's going to be a lot of rework. And your contractor may not be willing to do it for free, or they may be willing to do it for free, but it's still going to be more time. I would think that they wouldn't want to do it for free, especially if it wasn't something written in the contract. So that's why you want something to be in the contract. And that's what actually I asked my contractor to do. I gave him the drawing and the notes, and I said, I want this to be part of our proposal contract, and he was good with it. So we moved forward. I also asked him about the hardware, about the kind of wood, and the post size and girth. You want those to be sturdy. And I just asked, are there any other things that you would suggest for my yard, right? Because I've done my research, but I did a couple hours at most of research. So if you have a really good contractor, they may say, well, actually we do this way because such and such, right? And that might be a good recommendation. So ask them, is there anything else I should be considering before we move forward? And once you have all of that and you have the price, most of them will probably have you pay some sort of deposit, maybe a 50% deposit. They're gonna come and work, and I was able to see a little bit of the progress, as you guys saw in the earlier part of the video. And at the end, I had some small issues, again, as you saw, and it's okay to communicate that with your contractor. Hopefully you have someone who is willing to work with you, like in my case, and they seem to be really easy fixes. So I'm really grateful to the people that we worked with. But it's okay to say, hey, like, I'm not sure about this, or even if you're not great with confrontation, hey, is there a reason that this came out this way? Is there a reason that you did this way? Because there may legitimately be a reason, or it just may be like, oh, we forgot this, and they can fix it for you, right? Don't be shy to confront them. Again, you're paying them and they want you to be a happy customer because they know that you're probably going to recommend them if they do a great job, which we definitely will be recommending them. But those are all the things that I learned during this process. We're going to give Vanilla a little second. Okay. Bless you. Those are all the things that I learned during this process. And I hope that it was helpful for you. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the before and after. And as always, Vanilla and I love you guys. God bless you. And we hope to see you next time. Bye. Take care. It's kind of cool. Actually, I'll wait. Cut.